What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 26 of my Total Warhammer II modded Arkhan the Black campaign. So as we saw last time, a pretty big battle with Walkoff and the Ghoul army against the Goblin army of Nubzub Bootlika saw us victorious, but it did see us lose one of our units and take about half damage on several units and a quarter damage on several others. Now we have to decide whether we're going to attack Nubzub again and draw out the garrison and fight an even bigger battle than we just fought with a hurt army to try to take out Karak Asgal for good, or at least damage its garrison to the point that we can hopefully siege it. It'll be probably a problem because a lot of the units in here will escape, just like the army escaped here, and then we're not going to be able to do too much about it. So it'll definitely be risky. At the end of the day, what might happen is we might do enough damage, but our army will be so hurt we won't be able to take Karak Asgal itself after. I mean, the other option is to just try to attack Karak Asgal itself. The problem there is the ghouls are terrible in a siege, especially without siege towers, and I don't think we can wait, because if we wait, all we'd end up doing was allowing Nubzub to heal and then attack us and draw out the garrison anyway while we were trying to build towers. So I guess we do have to try to attack him out here. None of our heroes can approach. You, Tolathor, you can not assassinate because we don't have any cash. Okay. Let's try this thing. It's probably going to be a toughie.
They challenge me?
Alrighty, so the battle deployment says this is in our favor, but as we know, the battle deployment likes to lie and overvalue and undervalue some units. I do think that's going to be the case here, as the orcs did prove in the last battle to be a little bit stronger than we expected. I suppose it'll depend on whether we can bring our mobility to bear, although unfortunately I don't think that's going to be the case with them having 4 remaining cav/cav-ish unit with regards to the pump wagons here, and then 2 more full HP cav units out of the garrison. So that's a lot more mobility, plus they have a lot of melee now, which they will have more so than us, which will mean they'll be able to hold us back. Alright, well, let's try it anyway. Hopefully, I mean, I guarantee this is going to be a fun battle, even if we lose half our army. Alrighty, I gotta give it up to the auto-resolve this particular time around. It knew what it was talking about, crazy as that sounds. So, unfortunately for the AI, it got completely screwed over, and it's spawning its reinforcing garrison army on our side of the map, which means we can block off the entire thing, surround them, and kill them at our leisure with our giant pile of ghouls and crypt horrors just enveloping this, this part of the map. Absolutely horrendous for the AI. In addition to that, we are going to use our Sepulchral Stalkers to keep the rest of the enemy army, or the Nubzub's remaining army, back just with these 4 units, or at least that's the plan. But it's going to go so well, I'm not going to spoil it. But I feel like this is beneficial, especially since we do have the stock and the Vanguard deployment on these guys, so that they can get away even if they get wrecked, and they can just distract these guys long enough for this army to cripple the main army that we have to deal with. So, in the meantime, we are going to start getting shotgun shots off into everybody's faces over here. There we go. Going to start with the most threatening units, i.e. the Boar Boy Biggins, even though the Sepulchral Stalkers are anti-large, and they do fair amount of damage against weaker units like this. We do want all these Boar Boys dead, after all. We don't want them running past us and charging anybody, like this unit is doing. At least these ones charged directly into the Stalkers and then got wrecked by the Halberds, as you guys can see. But they are not as adept at killing something like the nasty Skulkers in melee over here, so that's going to be a lot more of a problem. So there we go. The battle is joined. The Sepulchral Stalkers are going to stay here and try to do their best. Of course, the enemy does have a fair few heroes here, and the heroes are particularly threatening to the Stalkers because they don't seem to be very good at dealing with them at all, and they do quite a bit of damage to the individual models and can kill them reasonably easily. So yeah, that's definitely something to watch out for. In the meantime, the enemy host is arriving, and I believe they're still coming in, but as you can see, they're completely surrounded. King Walkoff, despite him usually being too slow to immediately join the battle, is now on this side, so he immediately is able to attack the Goblin Big Boss and just wreck him with the help of a few crypt horrors in here. But other than that, these These orcs are in a terrible position. We also have all of our units grouped up, basically, so that means we can get Foz Protection and Barona's Time Warp on everybody and just destroy these poor trapped orcs, including the Black Orcs, which I thought were going to be an incredible threat here. And they're certainly a threatening unit, not gonna lie, but we're applying all of our poisons, and they're not able to bring their numbers to bear except through the front line, which has to deal with the Crypt Horrors, so... Very, very poor luck, and there we go. We got a cast-off, an actual damaging cast-off going here with Shem's Burning Gaze. I wanted to pop it, and look at all these damn orcs. Ah, these poor units. This is like, it's like 90% of their force unable to do anything just because they can't get past the enveloping line of ghouls. I'm amused. This is a little bit of serendipity, I gotta say. Definitely some good luck here. Wow, you are a braved Crypt Core. Look at him bowling over half the enemy orcs here. Damn. You're gonna get surrounded here, buddy. That's probably not a good idea, brave though it may be. And smashy, smashy. Yeah, I just find this hilarious. But it certainly does work in our favor. And plus, we also got the debuffs coming in from, or I guess I might have used them already, from King Walkoff. I think I actually used them to kill the Lord basically instantly to cripple these guys and their leadership. His Tormentor Sword and his Helm of Discord just absolutely wrecked the Lord, as well as the units here, including the Black Orcs being debuffed. Now let's check back briefly on the Sepulchral Stalkers. They've definitely started to take damage. This one actually did start to rout. Fortunately, the nasty Skulkers have been dealt with, although it took far, far longer to deal with them than with any of the enemy Boar Boys. The enemy does pop their Wasp, so that's a plus 20 melee attack, as well as armor piercing and immunity to psychology. So that's not as good for us. They will continue to do damage, and that's an especially nice buff for the enemy Lords, which are dishing out the damage to the Sepulchral Stalkers. I do believe the Spider Rider is also faster in movement than the Sepulchral Stalkers, although I could be wrong. Just remember that particular hero being quite fast. So here's what we're doing. The enemy are chasing after our two more hurt units of Stalkers. We're going to move them back temporarily, while the two slightly less hurt ones, the Regiment of Renown, which are a lot tougher, and the regular one here that was helping out against the nasty Skulkers, which certainly did quite a number on them. I'm very impressed with this little unit, and I do remember using a lot of them when playing Skarsnik. And, you know, just as a cheap damage dealer. And I believe they're also buffed in SFO, although I could be wrong. Anyway, the Snotling Pump Wagon is also doing a great job charging into us, so we haven't had the chance to surround it or to get any ranged shots off on it, even though that would probably destroy it quite well. Or destroy them quite well, rather. Still all four models remaining. Fortunately, several of the enemy units have routed, and we should be looking pretty good as long as we can get these guys out. The main line of Sepulchral Stalkers, the one that took the most damage because they were dealing with the enemy heroes, and it looks like the enemies do break off their pursuit, while the others, the less hurt ones, do charge them in the back and get some ranged shots off. You can see this unit is going to be dueling with the Night Goblin Archers, and a few shotgun shells to them, or poison shotguns rather, just obliterate them. The chasing units of Night Goblins are going to charge the hurt units, who we do reline up and get the firing line going again. So these guys, once again, are going to be absolutely wrecked here as they try to approach. And this is the best use of the Sepulchral Stalkers, although, well, not so much on the charge. It would have been amazing. What I probably actually should have done here was to save one unit of Stalkers and just had it right here. They could have shot through basically this entire army and probably killed, like, I don't know, probably not half of them, but an incredible percentage of them. I just hadn't thought of it at the time, and I do regret it now, but hey, it's okay. We still definitely won. As you guys can see, this army is running away, although one of the problems with this is, of course, going to be the fact that they are close enough to the... oh, look, more reinforcements coming in. They're close enough to the edge of the map that they could just walk off. King walk off, I should know. That's obviously going to be a problem because all those units will remain with their HP for the next fight, and we will have to attack Karak Asgal manually after that. But hey, it's okay. As you can see, they are getting reinforcements in the form of trolls and some more Boar Boy Biggins. Also getting a exploding... I believe that was the explosion from our priest going up. But I do believe this army isn't long for this world. It looks like the chain route has actually come in. I believe when the original Nubzub's army routed, these guys also suffered too much and decided that with all their army gone and their lord dead, they weren't going to stick around. I wish I had actually saved Tormentor's Sword for these particular units of Orc Boarboy Biggins, but how could I have known that they would have run this way, right? And then we could have just held them in place and killed them all. But that's okay. The giant pile of ghouls did great here. Not a lot of losses except for these 2 units of crypt ghouls. I believe they were in the center. Whereas the parts with the most crypt horrors basically didn't really suffer at all. Good job, crypt horrors. Oh, look, they're dueling a troll here. Or at least they were dueling a troll before this troll... or before this unit decided to run away. I wonder if he's going to die or not. Well, that one certainly died. Don't know about this one. And I do believe that is over. The Sepulchral Stalkers, definitely got to give it up to them. They took a hell of a lot of damage, but they held off the entire remnants of that army. And we basically succeeded, I feel like, because of that. Although, I mean, we still would have won if we had done it the other way around with all the Sepulchral Stalkers here firing into these guys. They would have died a lot quicker. Hey, and look, we actually managed to chase down the enemy lord. So I don't know which way would have been better. The problem there, of course, is that all of the enemy cav that were remaining here, and the heroes, since they were all mounted, would have been able to charge our rear lines very, very quickly, definitely before this army routed. So, I don't know. Hard to say without playing it again, and I'm just not gonna. That's the way it worked out, and it was still a decisive victory, and we're all gonna have to be happy with it. Alrighty, obviously scratch that whole, this is gonna be crazy difficult thing, because that went pretty damn well in our favor. Obviously the AI got screwed by the fact that its reinforcements were all coming in on our side of the map, which means they ran straight into the Crypt Horrors and got blocked and couldn't surround us, and we instead were able to surround them. Absolutely gotta give the MVPs to the various Sepulchral Stalkers, in particular the Eyes of the Desert, for holding off and killing the entirety of Nubzub Bootlika's army, including the heroes, which they had a very tough time with. The heroes did quite a bit of damage to them, whereas the cav did like nothing. They did pretty okay damage with the pump wagons, and I thought the Nasty Skulkers did really well as well. 6 kills, that's 6 Sepulchral Stalkers to their name. I gotta give them credit for that. And wait, Nubzub got 13 kills personally, so are you telling me that it killed 13 Sepulchral Stalkers by himself? That's pretty damn impressive. Wait, that can't possibly be the case. How many, what's the model count of these normally? Because we have 13, 5, 5, and 6, and 2, and 2. We can't possibly have lost, like, 30 Sepulchral Stalkers there. That count seems off to me. Huh. I wonder what it's from. Because, what is it, 16 max, I think? Or maybe 20? It can't be 24. It would have to be 20. I guess we'll find out in a sec. You know what? We are going to bind the souls here. We need the replenishment to destroy the garrison here. But anyway, these guys, regardless of the losses, they did really well. Not amazingly, granted. Like 5 or 4 units of Blood Knights would have just been able to kill everything here and taken 0 damage. But let's face it, these guys aren't meant for the role that they were used for there, A. And B, they're a tier 3 unit. So, yeah. Yeah, once again, bind souls.
Address me as your highness.
Okie dokie, you got the Confident Attacker trait, that's swell for you. Nubzub is dead along with his forces. Now, I just want to double check that they are in fact a tier 3 unit, because I'm pretty sure that they are. Which building, or which, oh damn it. They are, yes indeed, a tier 3 unit. Okay, I'm not crazy. Nubzub was crazy. Okay, let's see. Karakazgal, we are going to attack you now. Once again, I feel like the auto-resolve is lying, but I guess that time it didn't lie, so that means that this time it didn't. We are probably going to take a lot more casualties than this says, though, just because this place will have towers, and there's really not much we can do against the towers. Plus, they have 4 range units to have upon the walls. Okay, well, we're going to fight this one in cinematic fashion as well, which means that we are going to have to make a cut here. Looks like it's going to be another ghoulish episode, as it were, so here comes the cut. There it is, and it's time for a semi-proper ghoul siege, minus the siege towers, of course. Here we go, a siege with an army that isn't really designed for sieges, so this is going to be pretty interesting. We are also quite under strength because we've taken damage, but we shouldn't let that worry us because the enemy is equally under strength. Now, we are going to charge the gates with our monstrous infantry, very reminiscent of the Throg campaign, as that is the way he likes to get inside cities, and mostly the Sepulchral Stalkers are the ones that are better at this, mostly because Stalk allows them to bypass the towers and their damage for a lot of the time. They can get quite close to the gate before the towers realize that they should be firing at them. And that is going to allow them to get there without taking much damage. As you can see, the Crypt Horrors are actually not that adept at taking a bunch of range fire. This is a great way to get rid of Crypt Horrors in general when you're fighting against vampire counts, because they can be focused down with range fire, as you guys can see here. This is, of course, not going to be enough range fire to kill these guys, but it's certainly going to dish out some damage. Now, I did send up our Lich Priest over here. You can see him running around on his skeletal steed. I was hoping to get a cast of banishment off right here, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out because these guys didn't actually have a lot of troops here, so casting banishment really would have been a waste unless they at least group up or something. In the meantime, the Crypt Horrors have finally arrived. They don't seem to be running anymore, they just seem to be walking close, which is probably why they're taking so much damage. We dropped to about half HP on one of them. Walkoff isn't hurt at all, and he's running kind of sideways there. And there we go. Finally, the Crypt Horrors are in, but look at this. You can see them smacking the gate around, and they're doing 1% damage every what? I don't know, maybe probably more than 10 seconds. I mean, look, it's still at 1%. There we go, 2. And how long is it going to take to get to 3? There we go. So obviously, we're going to be here for a long time. Now, over here, conversely, we have the Sepulchral Stalkers attacking the gate, who have it at 31%, despite reaching it at a similar time, and it is going up in damage much, much faster. Obviously, we're going to speed up for this. And yeah, so from this, it's pretty clear that the Sepulchral Stalkers are decent at destroying gates, and it does sort of make sense because they have halberds, but on the other hand, I find it a little bit weird that the Crypt Horrors are so slow. Let's check on the gate progress over here. Hey, come on, mouse. No? No? Okay, fine. Okay. We're at 14% now over here. We got our second set of Sepulchral Stalkers moving in as well, because I quickly realized that we're not getting through this gate, or at least not quickly. So if we're going through this gate, we will send all our Sepulchral Stalkers here. Let's speed it back up as we break through this thing. We do also have a unit of Crypt Horrors here. I wish I had actually moved them out so that more Sepulchral Stalkers were able to attack the gate, and there we go. The force is in. The snakes are, you know, being used sort of for their purpose. I really didn't expect this. It's completely different from the sieges that we've fought thus far with Arkhan's faction. So what I'm immediately going to do is I'm going to get all the Sepulchral Stalkers moving up here where they can bring their range to bear against all of the units that are hiding in the center of the enemy's stronghold, being the trolls as well as all the cab units that are back here. You can see them sort of milling around but not doing anything, and that's why we're going to line up like this, to get those shotgun shots in. In addition to that, the enemy is going to move all of its units off the walls here and send them to fight our Crypt Horrors, which is going to be perfect for a number of reasons. One of our units of our Sepulchral Stalkers is going to move in here, and it's going to be able to shoot them in the side like this. Yeah, we're probably going to get some splash onto our Crypt Horrors, but hey, they should love a poison bath. They're very poisonous themselves, after all. In addition to that, having realized that the Sepulchral Stalkers can get through the gate and the Crypt Horrors cannot, I take half of our Ghoul army over here, the regular Crypt Ghouls, and I start moving them onto this side so that we can approach. Let's just double check that gate percentage again. We're at 28% now. 28%, and there's more units there, and these guys are already fighting. Plus, the Lord is also hitting them, so we're really kind of unimpressed with that. Anyway, let's see our Sepulchral Stalkers go to work, shall we? So, these orcs have turned their backs and are going to have a pretty bad day here. And yeah, it's certainly very useful to have the Crypt Cores right here, blocking them like this. Although, yeah, you can see the hits aren't ideal here, but they're still working. And they're doing a lot of damage. You can see these guys have dropped more than half HP across both of the units, so the Crypt Cores are certainly holding their ground quite well, and these guys are going to help out. Now, in addition to that, we are going to fire on the enemy here. I did attack the Trolls first, and we do, what, maybe a little bit under 25% HP damage to them. And here we go, some more shots in there. Now it's about 50% HP damage from their original HP. And the Trolls don't seem to want to charge us. I don't know whether the AI is wary of that because they're halberds, and if these guys charge the Trolls on guard and braced, the halberds would just destroy them. It looks like the AI wants to get the Trolls out here. Oh, they're actually running out. You know what I should have done? I didn't realize that they ran out. I thought that the AI just moved them back. I probably should have had one of the units of Sepulchral Stalkers just chase them down and chase them off the map. And indeed, I do move some of these units here in a few seconds. In addition to that, it looks like one of the enemy forces of Orc Biggins is going to move in and try to stop our Sepulchral Stalkers. We are, of course, going to get a few shotgun shots in there before we start defending in melee. Fortunately, the Crypt Cores and our other unit of Sepulchral Stalkers are done with these two units over here and are now going to go to town on the Orc Biggins that have arrived. The Crypt Cores sandwiching them against the building and against the Sepulchral Stalkers. Now, the Sepulchral Stalkers not so good in melee against the large unit number units, i.e. Many unit number units, as opposed to single target entities and units like Cav that have fewer numbers. So we really did need the Crypt Cores here to prevent this from, being too annoying. But there we go. Another charge in this unit is just about broken. So we're doing pretty good. We've established a firm beachhead in the eastern portion of the enemy stronghold. We are going to move in all of our Crypt Ghouls, the regular ones, to sort of help this out as we attack. Obviously, the other half of our army still has not achieved anything because the gate is now at 47%, not even at 50%. I probably at this point should have given up and just moved them here. However, doing this way actually did keep a lot of the enemy forces on this side of the map, which probably helped out, I would think. I mean, it's certainly beneficial, but I do wish I had sent at least a couple more Crypt Core units out that way, but it's okay. It's actually kind of fun to fight with half our army and have these smaller engagements this late into the game sometimes, just because I do find the smaller engagements are very, very fun. And since you don't have to jump around so much with regards to the battlefield, you can watch a lot more stuff actually happen. And once again, the AI really doesn't know what to do anything. Do you charge these guys? Do you charge your Cav straight into braced halberds? Or do you keep taking poison shotgun shots? Ah, lovely. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side. We are starting to run out of ammunition, though. You can see this one unit is out. This one unit is basically out. And ouch. The unarmored units have a really bad time against that. So we basically have two units of Sepulchral Stalkers that still have ammunition. They're going to keep firing, but now it seems that the AI has, gained some decisiveness and is going to charge its Trolls straight into the halberds, who just push them back with their halberds immediately. I love that effect. I love how they push forward when charged. And there we go. So the Trolls here, a very, very bad matchup for them. They're going to get absolutely destroyed in a very short time. They are going to get some of their fanatics through here, but they're also going to destroy a bunch of their own troops with them. And in fact, they move backward through their own line, which is kind of hilarious. Good job, Sepulchral Stalkers. We are getting a lot of mileage out of this unit. This unit is really growing on me. This is one of the reasons I love playing Khalida, because I just spammed Sepulchral Stalkers and Necropolis Knights all over the place. And both of the units are pretty fun to use. Now, our ghouls have finally arrived, and we are going to try to sandwich this main force between the Sepulchral Stalkers on one side and the glowing ghouls and the regular ghouls on the other, which I think is a pretty decent decision, because the enemy will now be forced to get flanked, and on top of that, we have a lot more sort of area here in which we can attack the enemies. Plus, the enemy trolls got sandwiched as well, and I believe they're routing now. Yeah, there we go. They're routing. The enemy Lord unit here, the Black Orcs, which are their Lord, is now getting charged by the remnants of our Sepulchral Stalkers who are basically out of ammo, and will destroy them quite quickly. Even though they're not super good against this particular unit, there's too few of them to sort of stand a chance, especially with our glowing ghouls arriving and adding that warpstone scorch. And as soon as these guys are dead, the enemy is going to take a leadership debuff because their lord dies, and then on top of these guys being sandwiched between these two forces, we can then charge them over here as well, which is going to be pretty effective. The crypt horrors over here that were fighting since the start, I did send them around to chase any enemy units that were remaining to try to get them off the field so that they didn't come back, just to not have to deal with the annoyance. And look, we actually did manage to get a banishment off, dropped it on top of this unit of night goblins, which basically wrecked the unit, although it didn't do too much damage to the orc boys. At least one free unit that is routed is going to hurt their leadership even more. Let's take a quick look at the enemy gate. It is now at 65%, and as you can guess, it's not going to drop before this battle is over. And you can see there's only 3 groups of crypt ghouls here, because the 4th one went upstairs to go after this solo unit of Night Goblin archers, who obviously stand no kind of chance against them. Look, they're surrounded. It's a feeding frenzy over here. And, oh, I did not mean to speed it up. There we go. I just wanted to see how much damage you've taken. Yeah, they're basically dead, and the ghouls have taken a little bit of damage. But they've dealt much more than their share, so that's perfect. And now this entire army got completely sandwiched and stuck between all of our Sepulchral Stalkers and our Crypt Ghouls, and this army is going to get destroyed here. Oh, this was really effective. I'm actually really glad I ended up fighting the siege like this instead of the way I usually do it, which is with the, or I usually would do it, is with the regular monstrous infantry, i.e. the crypt horrors, just charging in through the gate and killing everybody. Because this was pretty fun, and it was different. Which I've already said like 3 times. I'm just surprised at myself. Okay, there we go. I believe the enemy army should rout any second now. One of our units of Crypt Horrors actually managed to get through the gate as it briefly opened up, so you can see them running around in here. I don't know why their unit is separated so weirdly, though. This is really bizarre, actually. I feel like what I did was I ordered them on this side of the gate. Oh, right. No, I ordered them to attack the gatehouse. But the gates opened, and they decided to take that order as in, well, we can't go through the gate because it's not really ours, even though it's open, and we can't attack it because it's open, which means we're going to run all the way around and go around. Well, I should have done that earlier myself, but it's kind of annoying that that happened. And it's, yeah, that's probably why these guys got separated so weirdly. Anyway, this battle should just be about over. The Sepulchral Stalkers are basically done. There's a couple of units in here, and the enemy popped their wah very, very late into the game. We're just going to kill the rest of these remaining Orc era boys, and I believe these guys will rout long before we get to them. Oh, and there's the chain route. I ordered the rest of the ghouls to finish off these guys as well, but they won't even get to them before they run. And there we go. That is a siege with basically no damage to us and no losses except for the damage incurred due to the range fire onto the Crypt Horrors. Pretty interesting fight, I gotta say.
I alone shall storm Hekara.
Man, that was an odd little siege, wasn't it? 50 units lost, we barely took any damage, and we certainly learned something. Don't use Crypt Horrors to try to break down gates, they do nothing. That was so bizarre. Okay, well, at least now we know that if the ghouls siege anything else, we're gonna have to split up the horrors with the stalkers, because the stalkers broke through that gate fairly fast, and the Crypt Horrors literally took the entire battle and didn't manage to break through. And that was with King Wakov. He was smacking the gate around the entire time as well. Disappointed in how neither of them do damage. I guess you need a bigger weapon. I just really find it odd about the horrors because they're big units. I feel like if that thing was smacking a gate around, it would work reasonably well. But hey, whatever. We won, and with nary a loss, so... Well, with very few losses. Occupy. And there we go. We got our first Orky territory over in these mountains. It'll be a base that we can attack from. And in fact, when we declare war on Khalida, we can just move down here with the Ghoul army. So this is a pretty darn decent position to be in, I think. I do wonder if the last settlement of Clan Moors is here. In fact, you know what? Search these ruins. See if it's Moors or if it's an actual ruin. It is an actual ruin. I'm not going to bother guessing because it's a waste of time. Okay, let's see. Now, Belagar is here. I hope he doesn't try to take 8 peaks from us, because that's ours. I mean, I know that he wants to, but we don't want him to. Now, here's the question. Can we recruit ghouls here? Unfortunately, we cannot. Oh, we could recruit... Wait, what? We could recruit Cairn Wraiths here. It starts with a freaking Cairn Wraith building. Oh, well, that's lovely. That's absolutely lovely. I'm going to not... Probably should tear down the... man. 2 turns to recruit a ghoul, huh? And it'll take 4 to... Oh, gee. Yeah. You know what? I think maybe we'll just recruit something else in here. You know what? Let's get a Screaming Skull Catapult in here temporarily. I know I said I wasn't going to get Siege in this army. It's just I don't want to wait 4 turns. And yeah, we could cancel and wait 2. But I feel like we should wait only 1 right now. We can... I mean, we don't need to move into Crooked Fang Fort, and Belagar's going to go for Dringo Karaz. Now that I think about it, do we actually need to move? We won't be attacking Khalida for several turns yet. Okay, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe we don't need the catapult. And yeah, obviously the catapult would actually be quite helpful in this army as it lacks siege, but I did that on purpose. I want to have different armies that work completely differently from each other, just so we don't have to rely on siege. Like, I thought that battle, that particular siege was very interesting, as it was completely different from the artillery sieges. And as you guys know, I like the whole variety thing, so yeah. Okay, now you are going to cancel all of these Krokagar Legion units. And you are going to get them back. Where are the other Krokagar Legion? Right here. There you go. Get them back. We'll get the ghouls first. We'll get those guys second. Now, I believe we only need 1 more turn to finish recruiting the Tomb Guard here. So that's going to be pretty nice, because this army is basically done. It just needs to trade troops with the other army. And then Setep can get to work somewhere. I will probably end up sending Setep to fight the dinos, because that's a lot of anti-large units that we have there. And that seems like something that these guys do. Plus, Arkhan's been fighting for a while. I feel like we should give some of the other armies a chance. I will most likely send our Ushabti up here towards Sartosa. It's just like, I've wanted wine for this entire frickin' campaign. We're at turn 95, and nobody wants to trade with us, and nobody really has wine either. So I guess the only way is to just destroy this place. I hope that the Ushabti army can manage on its own. But I guess we're gonna find out. Ushabti with a great bow can attack towers, right? I hope they can, because if they can't, it's gonna be a lot more of a problem. I no longer remember. Either way, I think we're good with regards to this turn. Everybody's recruiting what they should be recruiting, so we can just end it. Arkhan can't attack the dwarves this turn, but he will be able to next turn. And then he can start heading north to fight Khalida. Arkhan can destroy Khalida because I feel like he has a personal grudge against the other Tomb Kings, whereas, as I said, we'll send other armies down to deal with the last defenders. Although, I did want to get Saurus Smiter on Arkhan personally. That 10 melee defense buff is quite nice, especially for a hero like Arkhan, who isn't the best melee fighter. So maybe we'll try to have him fight Krogar at least once and then back off, maybe something like that. We also got to see what Khalida does for us. Alrighty, you are still alive. I thought we killed you, or did we kill somebody else? We're still at war with you, right? Oh no, we're not at war with you. I guess we did kill, or was it another faction? I really no longer remember. All the Beastmen armies here. This guy's in this area, right? Because he's fighting Crooked Moon, Mutinous Gitz, and he's fighting Grimgor. That means he's in this area. But then what faction was down here? That's not important. We're obviously not going to non-aggress with a freaking Beastmen faction anyway. I don't even want to bother thinking about it. Alright, Arkhan the Black just got himself a Raider, which is completely useless. Last Defenders used Rite of Awakening for a Slan Mage. Well, that'll be fun. Arkhan will want to fight that. We won't be getting reputation with the Court of Libaras. Well, that's just fine, because that reputation is going to drop quite a bit. And now, I believe with that, the end of that turn, Qatar's pyramid is finished. So the bright shields are now ours, on top of a massive amount of buffs, with a very, very nice pyramid. One of the better pyramids, and one of the better techs it unlocks as well. We do have 3 more turns until the Wisdom of the Third Dynasty. I'm almost tempted to just switch to Architecture of the White Palace just for that construction time and income from cities. But, I mean, I guess another army is going to be better at the end of the day. Because we still need to ferry stuff. We also need to get those damn Mortis engines going. We need 2 Mortis engines in Arkhan's party. And I believe one of the comments in one of the previous episodes said that we will need to recruit the Sphinx of Usek into Arkhan's army, which makes me think, even though it's not a ghost unit, if we replace Snuggles with the Sphinx of Usek, obviously send Snuggles to our new Scorpion army, which is also happening, and that will deal with any anti-large units, because one thing this army completely and entirely lacks is anybody that's good against large units. Nothing here can really deal with them all that well. I mean, obviously the various rates can deal with anything, but the large units that have splash do a fair amount of damage to these guys. So I also don't like that very much. So this might really shore up that situation. Alrighty, anyway. Oh, look, they've got an actual semi-army going out here. I'd love for this to be a field battle. We won't have time to fight that this episode after 2 battles with the ghouls, and the fact that we've run out of time, and the fact that I would have to do so much editing that I would want to die. Oh, man. And not come back. Arkhan, you heard me. Okay, now, we could save the Avenue of Monuments. You know what? I'll take care of the building between the episodes, as I usually do. That's going to be way too much thinking. What I do want to say, though, is between the episodes... Where the hell are you going? Alright, fine. Head out there. What are you, even? You are a Necrotect that gives us Cunning, and you wound and block and stuff. Okay, well, that's swell for you, buddy. What I was about to say was that over the next few episodes, especially between the episodes, I'm going to be getting a bunch more various heroes. And the reason for that is I want to get ones with buffs A, like especially anybody that has the... there's a buff that gives +10 relationships with all factions. I'd really love to get that. My original plan was to get enough of those to actually be able to trade for the wine, but I don't think that's going to happen. But other than that, we have a lot of heroes that we can get. I even disabled the camera for hero not moved thing, just to get a ton of canopic jars. Out of the heroes themselves. I don't want to hire a bunch of lords and then give them the skill and then disable them, because I feel like that feels a little bit cheaty, and I generally want to avoid that sort of thing. But otherwise. Now let's take a look over here. I did want to complete this army. Bright Shields, we could recruit 6 in theory, and we don't have room for that, do we? We are going to be at 15 out of 20 here when we get the last of the regiment... The Regiment of Renown of the Skeleton Archers in here. We're going to be at 15 out of 20. Plus, I do believe I was going to get you, King Rakash. You're an anti-large duelist. But I bet you're not a caster. You are not a caster. So at the very least, we're going to need to get a caster in here. What kind of caster, you ask? I'm not entirely sure yet. We need a book of... Oh, hello. You're able to upgrade to level 5. It's going to cost all our money. Okay, I got to really think about this, because getting that would allow us to go into Mortis engines. And I really want those for Arkhan. His army's not going to be complete until he has them. Definitely have to consider something there. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, we have to figure out what we want to put in this army, because it'll be 15 out of 20, 16 when we get the mage in here. I guess the only real option is to put the Golden Host of Mahrok in here, the Nehekara Warriors. Their defender... Oh, wow, they have 103 armor and 102 leadership. That's pretty amazing, damn. And they're a shielded Nehekara Warrior unit. Huh. The regular Nehekaran warriors are dual sword infantry. How hard do they hit? I got 64 armor. That's actually still pretty damn good. I didn't realize they had that much armor. Yeah, these guys are... Huh. So I was originally planning to use the Xandri Black Shields as our melee line. Or rather, as our main one, because they're anti-large. They have anti-large and charge defense all, but they also have bleed. Wait, constant bolstered defense affects allies in range, and wait, it imbues expert charge defense? Oh, damn. Wait, I might have to rethink this army. Okay, here's the issue. I didn't realize that they had this aura that imbued melee defense and, more importantly, expert charge defense. We might be able to get that to some other army. Neither of you have a special aura. And the Golden Host of Mahrak in here would work pretty well with all their armor, although their melee defense is... Actually, it's about on par with these guys, and they hit a lot harder. But I feel like even with these guys being a resilient defender, they should probably still not be the main line. The problem with the Xandri Black Shields being the main line is that they have so little armor that they could get wrecked by anything. I guess they could be the flankers while the Golden Host of Mahrak takes that spot. We also have the Bright Shields. Huh. These guys have a golden shield, but also very little armor. Man, I guess, well, obviously these guys are going to have to be in a different army. The other thing that we could do is do something like 4 Xandri Black Shields, or even 3, and then mix them with Bright Shields. Black Shields and Bright Shields. Okay, that's going to get really confusing, isn't it? Mix them so that we can put some of them in another army. I don't want to repeat armies, though. I don't want them to be similar to each other, so then we'd have to figure out something we could do with a similar front line, but no skeleton archers. I guess we could go artillery, because this army is not going to have any artillery, it's just going to use the regular archers. We could give them some Cairn Wraiths into that army. Instead, have a half ghost, half melee line army. I don't know, you know what, I'll have to think about this. Oh, maybe we do put half of them in there, and the rest will be the Scorpion army, because I didn't know what I was going to put into the Scorpion army. And they could use some sort of melee line. It'll only allow for, what? 6 units extra. It's actually a pretty decent melee line. We got 6. We'll put 6 units in there. 5 Tomb Scorpions under the command of Sub-Commander Snuggles, and then probably some Sepulchral Stalkers as well to function as pseudo cav and to function as their pseudo range. And I believe the Sepulchral Stalkers share upgrades with Tomb Scorpions, so that would be perfect. Stone Sentinels is Sepulchral Stalkers and Tomb Scorpions. So that would make sense. That would mean we'd also need 2 heroes to be the Treacherous army. Somebody said in the comments that Treacherous does stack, so yeah, I feel like we should get at least 2 of them in here. Maybe we'll get 7 Tomb Scorpions instead. Go on a Tomb Scorpion spree. Yeah, the only problem is I have seen Treacherous before, but it's always seemed to be on the lore of Nehekara. We don't want 2 lores of Nehekara. We want 2 different lores at the very least. I'd love to get a lore of Nehekara and a lore of Light. I did hire a lore of Death guy somewhere, did I not? You're a Nehekara, you're Light. I swear I got a Death caster for somebody. You're a Nehekaran caster by yourself. No, wait, you're Lamazaj, you're not a caster. You're another Nehekaran lore, but that's because we need to buff these guys. You have no caster because you are a Nehekaran caster. So I guess we could put a Death lore for this guy. You can have a Death lore. Okay, well that decides that. And you know what, I'm gonna... obviously I'm gonna call this. We have no time remaining. I had to think about some of this. Wait, these guys are summoned at rank 9 here? Yeah, there's a lot more stuff to consider, clearly. And I just realized... Oh, these guys summoned rank 9 here as well. Okay, that doesn't change anything. Yeah, so once again, calling it here. Going to do a ton of administrative stuff with our buildings. Probably not going to upgrade this to level 5 yet, but we'll probably do so in a couple of turns. I don't like either of these, so I'm probably not going to put either of them in our army. I mean, I guess we could make a tough Lich Priest, but that really doesn't feel right. I feel like there are way better Way better options. And we have way too many Light Priests and a Hekaran Priest already, so we need to get some Death Priests, as well as some Shadow Priests when we finally unlock the Book of Nagash that allows us to get it. It's one of these, right? Am I wrong? Is it not a book of... Yeah, here we go. Lore of Shadows. It comes from occupying Caracade Peaks. Oh, we're gonna get that one soon. Okay, well that's lovely. Can't forget to do that. Okay, anyway, as I said, calling it administrative stuff, blah, 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 blah. Next time we will start off by attacking Karak Zorn, hopefully in the field if this army doesn't run away. If it does run away, we'll kill it out here, and then we will attack these guys and just destroy them with artillery. Then we will be moving out here and attacking Khalida, and from several sides, as we will attack from up here with the ghouls at the same time. I will also send you out here to... No, go through the water, you... idiot. Land here, please. We want him to find out what's going on in Nagashazar. It looks like there's Skaven corruption there, but we don't know whether that is a Deathmaster Snitch or whether it is in fact... a last hold of Clan Moors. They do appear to still have one settlement, which hopefully we'll find next time. So with that said, as always, I do appreciate any and all feedback in regards to the gameplay or the way I do things on this channel. If you have a second, please do take it to leave a like and or a comment to support the channel. It really, really does help. As always, all glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.